So today, this is about focusing our marketing efforts. And the reality is, we have some very limited resources, limited time, and if we're not focused, we're going to have to hope for the best. So my idea about niche development is plain and simple. If we want to grow, let's determine the direction and grow there. For those of you who this is your first time hearing me, I'm an author. I've written 3 books geared towards helping the accounting industry do better. I'm an educator. I love to teach, share ideas, business coach and consultant to the accounting industry. So I work with firms one-on-one or in group settings. And my main role, I'm a growth strategist, but I also like to agitate technology, and basically by that it's looking at new and better ways to do things. I spent 25 years in the trenches doing the work of accounting, and now I spend my time for about the last 5 years studying accounting and studying technology and finding ways that we can leverage things like social media to do better. So that's a quick intro to me, and now I'm going to share just very quickly the 8 pillars. So right now we're on pillar 4, as you can see right in the middle. There is a method to this, and basically we've already talked about operations, how we can do better. We've talked about marketing and networking, and last week we talked about sales and selling professional services. Hopefully I convinced each and every one of you that was on last week that sales is something we do, whether we like it or not, and therefore we had at least better be good at it. Next week, we're on our next session, not next week, the week after, we'll be talking about value pricing, and then we'll sort of on the downside come into the technology that's changing the industry today. My other favorite pillar is value-added services. We get to tailor it. We'll talk a little bit about that today. And then last but not least, we wrap up with practice management. So we're halfway through. If you've been on multiple sessions, congratulations on making that commitment to your firm. If this is your first session, welcome, and I promise we will start. This is a standalone session, so you're not going to have to worry about missing some background information. Now, in my humble opinion, niche development is the intersection between marketing and sales, and really, in my very humble opinion, it's the foundation for both. Again, in a perfect world, if we had unlimited resources, I would say mass market to your heart's content. But the reality is very few of us have those unlimited resources. So we really need to focus on who our ideal client is. And by doing that, we can define our niche. And I'll share a 12-step process that can help you build a niche that will provide a never-ending stream of referrals. And the point of that is marketing and sales shouldn't be one and done. It should be an ongoing process. And ideally, you want to be able to get referrals when you need them, not randomly or sporadically. And one thing I'll mention, a lot of accounting firms tend to focus on their clients. They get most of their referrals internally. The reality is, if you're getting all the referrals you need, great. But my experience, most firms, the referrals are sort of random, haphazard. We hope for the best. So again, this is about deliberately creating those referrals so that you can have consistent growth, sustainable growth. And so today what we're going to do, obviously, we'll talk a little bit about firm metrics. So we're going to measure where you are. We're going to talk about a 12-step process. Part of that, and the most important piece in all of my teachings, the most important piece to any of this is who's our ideal client, because we're going to build our experience around them. And just so that it's not all theory, I'm going to show you an actual example. We'll talk about leveraging the cloud, so some technology you can use. And then last but not least, we'll wrap up, and being an educator at heart, we'll cover some action steps. So today, my goal for you is I want to teach you the reason behind focusing on a niche. So that to me is the far most important piece. If you know why you're doing it, it's more likely that you'll do it. The next thing, and again, I think the foundation for everything we do, we'll talk about the ideal client. And then the last piece I hope to share with you is how a niche can help you grow. So Tad's going to launch a couple of polling questions. I'll go through this slide, and then Tad, there's one ready to go, I think.
Okay.
So if we have any questions, just put them in the question and answer box. Happy to answer as we go, or if you prefer, use the chat feature. Okay, so let's jump in. Firm metrics. Now, the reason I start with firm metrics is not that it's the most important thing, but it's so that we can measure our success. I want to stress over and over again, ideal client is the most important thing for today. But let's look at these firm metrics, what they do, what they mean to you, and how you can use them to grow your practice. So the first metric I look at is percentage of new clients referred by current clients. And really what that does is we're looking at where are our new clients coming from. Now, the higher that number, the better from an internal perspective, because it means obviously our clients like us and they're referring their friends and colleagues to us. Now, there's also an absolute and a relative. The absolute is how many new clients are we getting? That's another very important number. And what we need to look at is the net new clients. So if we've lost clients, gained clients, what's the net? Because if we're losing 10 clients a year, we need to at least replace those 10 clients to make sure that we're staying afloat. If you lose, ongoing on a consistent basis, you're losing clients, you're eventually going to have a hard time maintaining overhead. Now, another measure, so the first one really indirectly measures our client satisfaction rates. Percentage of fees from new clients, that's our real measure of growth. How well are we doing? Are we growing? Are we really consistently, if that number is really low, it means that we're just servicing our existing clients. We're not getting any new clients in. And again, depending on where you're at in your career, maybe that's okay. Just for my benefit, if you could type in the chat what you hope to get out of today, and that just keeps me on track, and I'll tailor the presentation. If you're here just for CPE, that's fine. Just type that in. But if you're looking for something else, I'm going to assume that you're here because you want to grow. So that's my upfront assumption. That's my intention. Okay, and we've got one looking to find a niche, one for CPE. So CPE is a perfectly good answer. I just hope that there's something in here that you can take away. The good news about just being here for CPE is if you wait the hour, magically you get your CPE. Others, if you're looking for growth, which that seems to be the majority, good for you. You're gonna have to pay a little bit closer attention. The next one is percentage of fees from new services to existing clients. And all that does, that measures our level of innovation. So for those of you who are looking to grow, ask yourself, and feel free to put it in here, how much time and energy are you willing to commit to growth? So I guess what I'm looking for, if you could, is how much growth do you want to see in your firm? Is it 5%, 10%, 50%? One of the clients I'm working with right now, their current goal is for the next 10 years, they want to see 100% growth each year. So growth is a relative thing, and I'll share tips relative to how people are looking to grow. But one of the easiest ways to grow is by being innovative. And innovation is measured in terms of offering new services to our existing clients.